Hello, my name is Mike Thompson. I'm a co-author of the book Business Diagnostics, 3rd edition, with Terry Rockwalski and Richard Mimick. Today I want to talk about a fairly complex topic around bank risk assessment. And what this means really is if you're making an application for financing, you need to understand how the commercial banker is figuring out whether or not your deal is bankable or not. And this involves a fairly involved and complex risk assessment process, which we have actually simplified a fair bit. And we've really pulled it into 5 different areas, 5 different lenses that the banker will look through as they put your company under the microscope. So let's start with the first one, which will be a company strategy. So the banker wants to understand what kind of business you're really in and what strategy is underpinning your performance. So for example, are you looking for cost or price leadership? Are you looking to be diversified? Perhaps you may be running a boutique high-end lodge on the west coast of Canada, for example. Are you looking for defined market segments? Are you looking to sell your technology into the oil and gas sector in Alberta, for example? So they'll want to get a feel for the kind of strategic sort of planning process you've gone through and the pathway that you're taking the company down. They'll also want to figure out as to how you differentiate yourself from the competition as well. So again, the first key lens then is the one of company strategy. The next one is market potential. So they'll want to get a feel for how large your market is and what it's made up of. What are the key market segments? Who are the key players in those areas? They'll want to get a good feel for the way that you deliver your product or service. They'll want to look at the 6 P's of your business there, the pricing, the product considerations. They'll want to look at the promotional piece. They'll want to look at the place or distribution. They'll want to look at the people involved in the sales process. And they'll also want to look at the partnerships as well. So again, getting a feel for how you are embarking upon the delivery of your key product and service and how well you're doing that will be another key consideration as the banker looks through that second lens. The third lens is one of infrastructure and operations. So are there any environmental considerations? What kind of premises do you have? Do you own it or do you lease it? What are the considerations around inventory? Is inventory a big issue or not? Are you embarking upon lean management techniques? Do you have Six Sigma qualifications with your staff? Do you have a project management orientation? These are all the kind of questions that they'll look as to the engine room of your business and how that's being discharged. So again, a very, very key third lens as well there too. The fourth lens that gets looked through with a lot of dexterity and a lot of enthusiasm by the banker ties into the financial performance of the company. They'll certainly want to look at your current financial statements going back probably 3 to 4 years. They'll want to look at interim financial statements. They'll want to see your forecasted or projected statements as well. They'll want to get a fix on your working capital, how strong you are. Do you have a good surplus of current assets, of current liabilities? They'll want to look at your stability and how much leverage you carry. They'll calculate a debt to equity ratio. Shouldn't be more than 2 to 1. They want to make sure that basically you're not over leveraged and carrying too much debt. They'll also want to have a key look at some of your efficiency ratios as well. How fast you're collecting your receivables, how fast you turn over inventory, and how you settle your payables as well. So again, these are all important considerations that the banker will be bringing to the table as they sort of look through the lenses and again put your company under the microscope. The final lens is one of the most interesting, and it's that one of management capability. And this is a little bit of a hard one to get one's arms around, as opposed to, say, financial evaluation or operational evaluation. So management capability really is all about your track record. You know, how long you've run the company, what kind of team you have in place. You know, are there areas of good, solid stability here? You know, you've got a solid managerial team. You've executed well over the last number of years. There are no issues with regards to staff turnover. Perhaps there are no union issues, or if there is a union, that things are on a stable negotiated basis there too. It's really important too to understand succession. Like, do you have people ready to step into your shoes? Do you have a clear-cut succession plan or transition plan in place as well there too? So again, this issue of management capability, of how you've run the company, the banker looks at that very, very closely. So in conclusion, I'd like to just sort of wrap things up by talking about, again, at a high level, these 5 different lenses. And many people ask me and my colleagues, which do we believe is the most important? The short answer is they're all important, but probably the one that I would focus on most is the final one, that of management capability. You can have a great financial performance, great markets, a good strategy, good infrastructure, but if management capability and staying power is questionable, then everything else falls by the wayside. So it's absolutely critical that the banker has the assurance of strong managerial capability. And as we like to say too, it's really important to satisfy oneself that there are no big knowledge gaps out there. Often it's said that managers don't know what they don't know. And again, we find that to be a really compelling piece of the risk assessment process. So wrapping things up, we hope you enjoyed this brief insight on the world of bank risk assessment. Our Business Diagnostics book has a lot of details around this, and again has been designed to keep your company moving forward and making sure that you're not underwater. Thank you so much.